Hi, people of YouTube and Cobb Modifiers. Welcome to another installment of Cobb Modifying Tips, Cobb Mod Tips. This one we're going to be going over shanks, or some people call them stem shanks, whatever the right terminology is. I'm just going to refer to them as the Cobb shanks. Alright, so getting into it, there is a few different ways to modify a corn cob shank or stem, whatever. Might even go back and forth between the two, whatever. And if you want to get into cob modifying, there's a few ways to do it. These are how I do it, and also how I've seen other people do it. Now, I'm sure there's hundreds of ways to do it, and I'm not saying that my way is right. Just what I've used and I've seen other people use. To start off, the easiest way to do it, and it's, even though it's simple and easy way, you actually can get you can get a neat look with it. And I've done lots of pipes where are corncob pipes that I haven't really done a whole lot of modifying, other than just simply sanding off the corncob pattern and just, restaining it or coloring it in some way. I've done just this color on the bulldog I did. That's just simple, just colored black along with the rest of the bulldog pipe I made. I still have the ferrule off from the last video. And those are going to be the easiest ways and to do it. When you start getting into replacing them or changing them, you really got to kind of keep an eye out for maybe certain things that'll work. As far as, and what I mean by that is like this corn or this bamboo rod I purchased. Now, I didn't purchase that bamboo with the intent of actually making these little stems with the nodes in them, like on that pipe and the other bamboo pipe I had made, if you follow me at all. I actually purchased them because I was in the arts area at a bigger box store, in kind of the arts kind of home decor area, and I saw these bundled, and they're supposed to be for decorative purposes. And when I was looking at, I started looking at it, and really what jumped out is this just screamed a bunch of church warden stems. So originally I bought this because I was like, man, that would make a good church warden stem, without figuring out how to try to hollow through a big long piece of wood. You cut here and here, and you have your little bench shape. Kind of a real easy way to do it. So, and that's kind of one thing too. Keep an eye out. You'll see some stuff you can repurpose without reinventing the wheel sometimes. But I am going to have to reposition my expensive stepladder tripod, because I have a sheet of paper down, and so I can explain a little bit better by drawing some pictures. So just sit tight, and I'll get everything set up, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, sorry my paper's a little bit crooked, but this is going to be kind of hard to do with filming and trying not to look through the viewer too much. So basically what I'm talking about, the first way about the stem stuff, anyways, so we're going to call this your pipe. Not the best pipe picture I've ever drawn, but we'll call this like your standard Washington or Legend. And you have your shank that comes in, and then you have the bottom of the bowl where they cut it, and then you have your bit. What I've seen some people do is they'll just take this whole shank out and replace it with a different piece of wood. It's kind of like the through method. You're just kind of getting it out. I have wiggled a couple loose. It's not very common. I have really found one with a loose shank on it. I know Scott at Earth Cobb had mentioned that he had used a microwave and warmed it up in increments to get them loose. But I've never tried that method, and maybe it does work. Maybe I'll look into it in the future. But you just get a different piece of wood if you want to change it. Let's say you want to make a mahogany shank. Take out the old one, put in the new one. Here, we'll even do the little bowl in there. Another way I've seen do it, and this is by Cane Rod Piper, which was really interesting, and I've never tried it yet, and I'm looking forward to give this a try. He actually takes a chisels this out the end, leaving the rest of the stem, and he takes up pipe mud and fills the bottom of the bowl, and then uses a drill bit of the appropriate size to make more like a traditional draft hole in the bottom of the pipe, which is a really neat idea. Go check out his channel if you want more info on that. All right, now moving on, the other ways I've seen it done is, there you go. Yeah, it's not exactly the greatest drawing. It's kind of hard to do through the viewer and such. Anyways, moving on. The other way to do it too is kind of, for lack of a better term, like the over method, where you will actually, here's the rest of your shank, you'll actually cut it off there. So you're left with a pipe that has a shank that's only that big. And you can come by along with another piece. You might need to sand this down where it'll fit inside real snug. And then you have your different shank. And this will all, it'll all be inside, which is a nice way of doing it. It's pretty easy to do it, and it's fairly fast as far as like getting it to size and fit into the new shank. And I really like this method just because it keeps this solid by almost like on a dull in woodworking when you're joining pieces. The other way along with that too is to do, if you want to do a bent stem that comes in, let's say you want something like that one pipe I did where you want something to come in like that. If you wanted to do something similar to that style, you would leave this, but you would also cut it kind of at an angle. I might have even got that backwards. There we go. So you're going to want to cut it the end like that. And this is the exploded view of where the pipe meets the cob, kind of, where they're going to meet. Okay, let's start over there. All right. If you want to do more of the bent style like that, all right. So you're going to have your piece stick out. You're going to have your new shank come in. You're going to want to cut this at an angle a little bit. And the reason for that is that'll make that hole more exposed going into the bowl from the old shank going inside. So when you put a pipe cleaner down, it's going to find that hole relatively easy. Otherwise, if you just cut it straight on the end and you're trying to come down with a pipe cleaner, it's going to kind of donk around all over and not want to go in as easy. So I hope that makes sense and all that scribbling. Those are really the ways I've seen people do it. It's the way I do it. I use all these methods except for I haven't tried the pipe mode one yet. Another guy, if you want to check out some really cool stem or shank modification, check out Don Juan Piper. He's not on YouTube, unfortunately. I wish he would start a channel, but he's on Instagram, and he really does some cool pipes where he takes that pattern that's in the shank from Missouri Meerschaum with that little corncob pattern, and he must hit it with like a Dremel tool and just kind of uses that pattern, and it kind of looks all pitted but evenly pitted, and it's really nifty. Gosh, that's swell. I guess that's the best I can explain it, even in my scribblings, if that helps anybody or if it even makes sense. That is pretty much how most people are going to do those stems. Well, I shouldn't say most people. It's mostly how I do them. Like I said before, if you have any other questions, always comment below, and I'll do my best to get back to you.